Hello everyone, it's Alexis with Create Your Future, and I'm back today with another video, you guys, another awesome success story about how one of my clients moved in with her SP and also what the intentions were that she was focusing on while she was doing that. I'm also going to go in today about how to interact with your SP when you're manifesting for them, and then how to be confident, because we talked about that in a previous video, and then what's going on when your thoughts are creating. So some super juicy information. Before I get started, thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. Please hit the bell icon in the box below and you get notified every time we post new videos, which is daily, which is awesome. All right, you guys, so really cool things. This client of mine that is a success story, she was a previous success story, and actually a lot of my clients have been inspired by her. And she was in a situation with her SP where her SP was with a third party. There were actually multiple third parties at one point. She went through periods of finding lingerie at his place, and she manifested through it. And now they're moving in together. And then fast forward a bit, they're actually having a baby. So it's really exciting, you guys. She consciously manifested the whole thing. Now that's a preview for another video, because I am backlogged with success stories because the mental diet works. I've said that in a bunch of videos, but in this success story, this is just talking about them moving in together. The pregnancy and making a baby is in another one. All right, so stay tuned for that. And just a couple things. So think that this success story, like we've said in so many videos, can be you. It will be you if you're consciously manifesting, because she's no different. And she went from a really dire situation to really figuring it out, getting on top of her thoughts. All she did was use the mental diet. All she did was affirm for what she wanted. So this client didn't use any sort of imaginal acts or imagination. She didn't do voice recordings for like affirmations. Now some clients do and it works, but just pointing out that the only technique, which is just her thoughts, which really isn't a technique, just a reminder there, the only thing this client did was focus on affirming for the version of her SP that loved her, wanted her, chose her, and that would love her exactly the way that she wanted. And I'm also going to point out that as this client did this, there have been lots of things that have come up with the SP that she hasn't liked, that she's also manifested through. So just something to keep in mind, all right? So let me just go into the success story and say it because it's so cute. All right. Dear Alexis, I just wanted to let you know that I'm officially moving in with my SP. If you want to share my story, you're more than welcome to. This manifestation took me about 3 months, but I didn't affirm every day for it because I had other areas I was affirming for. I just thought about it when I felt like it, and I think it's a really good reminder that things are always moving behind the scenes. Because when he asked me, he specifically said, I've been thinking about this for a month, but wanted to ask you at the right time. And as you know, I brought this up during our session and got a little irritated when it hadn't happened yet, but it is always working. Okay. I knew he had planned to ask me when my lease ended, but I wanted to make it happen sooner. I affirmed things like, I'm moving in with my SP today. He loves having me around, so he's asking me to officially move in now. I make his house a home, and he knows it, and a few variations of those. But I always thought about it like it was happening now, and I think that's what made it happen now rather than in August. So she did get this sooner than she wanted. I had signs that he wanted me to move in, which helped, but nothing related to when, so I didn't expect it all when he asked. I was very surprised. We were about to fall asleep and he just randomly said, so I think you should move in. And I was so excited, I forgot to say yes. And he was like, so is that a yes? Super cute. Now I'm affirming for a proposal, and now it's going to happen soon. He even asked me last night if he could propose with his grandmother's engagement ring. I'll have another success story for you soon. And she already sent that in, just saying. Thank you for all your help and encouragement. You and the Create Your Future team have been so helpful since I began this journey, and I've been able to manifest so many things fairly quickly with your guidance. Like getting my SP in the first place, him telling me he loves me in a very romantic way, trips with him all the time, staying with him every night, and now moving in together, plus so much more that I can't even think of right now. LOL. Thank you so much, Alexis. Okay, so you guys, really key things to point out here about the success story, like I said. So if you're listening to this today, please start telling yourself that this is going to be you, that this can be you, because it can be. Like I said in my last video, we're no different. We're all energy. So this client, what she did is she used many manifestations to get to the final goal of manifesting. So when they were, for instance, apart and they weren't dating each other and he was seeing other people, she was focusing on communication, moving forwards, him choosing her, him only having eyes for her. And then she took it step by step. So there's always two ways of doing conscious manifesting. You can go right to the end and do all your intentions and affirmations from there if you feel like that's empowering and if you feel like that works for you, but you don't have to. You can always take it in steps. So just keep that in mind, because that's something I get asked a lot, is which one of those do you do? And I say experiment. Go with what works for you. You could even change it day to day. It doesn't really matter, because remember, the whole point here is that your thoughts are things, and your thoughts are creating on your behalf, and your thoughts influence your reality because they're pushed out from the subconscious mind, which you're impressing with your thinking, okay? So this client was really good about being on top of her thoughts, on top of her mental diet, and being persistent. So the reason why we emphasize that persistency is so key when doing your conscious manifesting is because it's necessary to think new thoughts on purpose of a new reality so that you impress your subconscious mind with that new reality, and then the subconscious mind influences your reality at large. I've said this in other videos, but just a reminder, because I know it helps us to hear the same thing over and over again, is that your subconscious mind is approximately 90% of who you are. Your subconscious mind runs your lymphatic system, your endocrine system, your muscular system, your oxygenation system in your body. It's what keeps you going. And it also has, depending on who you talk to about this information, it has all the memories of the past, and it has your belief systems. In my opinion, I look at the subconscious mind has your belief systems, and it has ideas that you've ingrained in it through thought over and over again. So you just have dominant thoughts about topics that when you start doing this, some aren't to your favor, some are to your favor. But it's the subconscious mind that creates your reality. Your subconscious mind has a belief, it has an idea, and then everything orchestrates on your behalf outside of you in your 3D reality to make it happen. So to come back to this client, all she did was she affirmed in steps for what she wanted. That's it, you guys. So you can do that too. Just make sure that you're really understanding what your mental diet is, and that you're on top of your thoughts, and that you're really rehearsing your thoughts on purpose of the reality, of the chosen reality that you desire versus the one that you're currently living in. Okay, so I today have some really fun props. Okay, I've never used these in a video, and I'm super excited because I bought these a while ago, and I'll go into another reason of why I bought these. Does anybody remember these? I'm sure that most people that are watching this, whether you're, I don't know what country everyone's in, but like, how fun are these, right? So I bought these a long time ago on Amazon because they're just super fun. And I used to use them when I did sessions with children, and now I don't because I work for Create Your Future, but that's why I have these. So in any event, let's look at these two. Also, so I'm going in today into answering how do you focus on the ideal version of the SP, and I'm going to do that with these gizmos, with these wands. Okay. And then how do you, so how do we know what's going on here? Let's look at these two. I'm getting so distracted because they're just too fun. Okay. So let's look at these two wands as different versions of reality that have different versions of your specific person. Okay. Now, because I'm wearing blue today, this is going to be the ideal reality, the ideal version, and this is going to be the one that we don't want. So just think of this, you guys, like within this wand, there's little stars, right? And so let's imagine that the stars are the thoughts, and that you and your SP are the yellow and the orange floating around in space, floating around in a reality, and that all of the stars are the thoughts and the ideas and the stories and the beliefs that you've thought about the specific person and about yourself. So the thoughts are floating around, the thoughts are influencing, making you both orange and yellow, okay? So thoughts are floating around. A lot of these, let's just assume this is before you do mental diet or as you do it. These are old thoughts. So thoughts of things you don't want, thoughts of things you don't like, even though this wand is so pretty, like who wouldn't want it? But we're going to pretend that the little gizmos in there that are floating around are the thoughts, okay? So then just like this client, what begins to happen when you get on the mental diet is you have new thoughts, right? And it has new versions of two people. So now it's blue and it's white. And then all the thoughts are the stars within that are new thoughts that create a new reality. So persistency is so key, you guys, because this is just a culmination of your old thoughts. Old thoughts, old thoughts, old thoughts. And then what begins to happen is you have new thoughts, new thoughts, new thoughts that project out into your reality, and you begin to experience this. But in order for this to become as solidified as this experience, you got to persist, okay? I wish I had a better answer for everybody, because I get asked all the time, Alexis, what else can I do besides persisting? Is there anything else that I can do? Is there any other action I can take? Now, I'm going to go into this video about other things that you can do about your self-concept, but in terms of your reality and changing it, there's not much you can do besides rest in the faith and the trust and the assurance that your thoughts are things, your thoughts create. And we can get a little bit spiritual, that you were created by a creator to create. And if you are a spark of God, then of course you can create just as your creator created you. Listen to that 5 times fast. I've been thinking that in my own mind these days. But in any event, it's necessary for you to persist in the new thoughts. So just like this client, you guys, as a reminder, she went from a really difficult situation to now moving in with the SP. Now it's huge. I'll tell you, this guy was a stereotypical playa. Okay, she would agree with me. And what does she do? She tamed the player. Okay, so ladies, if you're out there and you're listening, or fellas, if you're listening and you're, currently have fallen in love with someone who just so happens to like a lot of other people or playing around in that playground, you can change it because you created it. All you did is that you're in a reality that's like this. It's not of your choosing. I think these wands are on Amazon if anyone's interested. All you got to do is focus, persist, and create this reality, this version. But all you got to do is remember too, that you got to be on top of your thoughts, on top of the mental diet, be intending for what you want and not of what you don't want, and then staying in that area of the mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that this client, she had a lot of negative emotions that came up. She had a lot of anxiety that came up. She had a lot of beliefs from her childhood that once she and the SP began to really move forwards, before they actually moved in together, but she was spending a lot of time with him, a lot of old belief systems, a lot of old things began to come up. And she really dealt with them. She booked extra sessions. We talked about it. We went through things so that nothing ever began to fall back. So now she's fully in this experience. Okay. But just like anybody, if she had continued in thinking negative thoughts, she would have been in this experience. Okay. So it's so unbelievably necessary at a cosmic level and spiritually that you persist in the new thinking, because there's no other way for you to experience the new reality until you associate your inner world, which is just your thoughts, your mental diet, and your imagination, with the new reality, the new version of you, the new version of the SP, and focus on that. Okay. So that's what's happening here. And that's my new analogy today for how to explain this. I've also gotten asked a lot recently about how do I interact with my SP while they're changing or while I'm manifesting for them to change. And what I want you to think about is if this is you and you have an issue with how do you act with the SP while they're changing, while you're changing, and while you're manifesting for a new reality, then we really want you to think about what is your self-concept, and how do you associate to yourself and your true self, okay? So like, let's talk about me, for example. I get asked all the time, like I talked about in a video recently, Alexis, how are you so confident? Alexis, have you always been this confident? And you guys, I wasn't, okay? So I love to do things like buy these fun wands. I like to get my nails done. Today they're bright pink and I have little diamonds on them. For those of you that notice and ask me and say that you're paying attention to my nails in my videos, because that's me, okay? At this point in my evolution as a person, I have done a lot of work on self-acceptance and accepting who I am, who is a manifestation coach. I'm kind of silly, kind of funny. I love makeup. I love doing my hair. I love buying things like wands. I love my nails, okay? So I'm really comfortable being myself because I have ingrained myself with being comfortable with self-acceptance and comfortable with who I am. So when I have done manifesting for anything, my fallback plan is always just to be myself. So if you don't feel comfortable being yourself, or you haven't worked on it enough, just like I've said I have done in order to do that, then you really want to think about that's a place to start. Because what's probably happening is that your SP is triggering you to question yourself. You're going into questioning and doubting about your self-confidence, about your self-worth, and about your self-acceptance. I get it, you guys, we've all been there, but you just don't want to keep on playing in that sandbox, if you will, or you don't want to keep on ingraining that habit or that inclination to go back to the old version of you that didn't believe in herself or himself or didn't have self-value or self-worth, okay? So that's how you know how to act around your SP, is that you don't react to what you don't want. You don't discuss things that you don't want. We don't bring up topics that you don't want, and you just be yourself. Like, try to enjoy your time with them. Enjoy being in the moment, being in your body, being cute, being funny, being like whoever you are, okay? Now, like I said, those are just some things that I am. I'm kind of silly. I like to laugh a lot. I like to make jokes. I like to, I don't know, eat the food that I like to eat. And so when I am focusing on manifesting something or someone, then I'm focusing on the moment, being with the person, and focusing on the things that I like and the things that I'm enjoying, okay? So that's a roundabout way of me answering how to interact with the SP as you focus on the ideal version. And then also always keeping in mind, you want to start keeping in mind throughout your day that the reality that you are experiencing is still just molecular energy. Like, you have to, as a human being, always tell yourself that you're in a quantum soup, you're in a quantum bubble. That the reality that you're seeing right now, even seeing me on the screen, when you're watching this is a culmination of your old thoughts. Everything is a culmination of your old thoughts. So if there are things that you're changing, then you don't want to give a lot of emphasis or a lot of power or a lot of thought to things that you don't like. So you really want to think about that when you're, having conversations with people and your SP about things that you don't want, or you're bringing up topics of the past that you don't want, or you're ruminating internally about what you don't want, or you're caught up in resentment, fear, anger, fight or flight, things like that, because none of that, you guys, is serving you. And frankly, you're not on the mental diet. You're not focusing the inner world on what you want. You're focusing on what you don't want, right? So you just want to get back on the train of persistency, back on the train as soon as you can, of thinking your thoughts on purpose, and really coming back to the place of being the master manifester who creates his or her reality from within, and who is in charge of it, who's in control of it, in control of emotions, in control of thoughts, because that's where your power place is. Okay, so that's what you can do when you're with the SP, and then also focusing on deep self-acceptance, self-love, self-value, and loving all those things about yourself. Because there was a time when I was much younger where I didn't let myself get my hot pink nails because I thought it was silly, or I wouldn't buy the glitter wands or whatever because I thought that it was silly. Or I recently have taken up roller skating, and I bought roller skates, and I'm doing that in my free time. So those are things that are personal to me. So you just kind of want to think about what's personal to me, who am I, and then who have maybe you put on the back shelf for so long, right? Like, who are you not allowing yourself to be? I feel as if this video is turning into a rant about something else. That wasn't my intention. But in any event, you do want to have a solidified self-concept where you're naturally able to be yourself most of the time, okay? Now, if you come from a family of origin, or you have trauma, or you have people that trigger the inability to really be yourself in the moment, then that's okay, you guys. It doesn't matter, but you just want to focus on being yourself and being okay being yourself most of the time, and then it will flow into all areas of life. But I find with a lot of clients who have had traumatic childhoods, or have been through a lot of rejection, or have a lot of regret, or a lot of negative emotions going on, self-acceptance can be nearly impossible. Which brings to mind the fact that I did create this story, excuse me, not the story. I guess I created the story too because it came into a course, but I created a course that's called How to Become a Master Manifester, and that tackles those issues so you can focus on safety, security within in your manifesting, and you can get a hold of your thoughts, understand what kind of thinker you are, and then really create that from within. Because self-acceptance here, valuing who you are and loving like all the cool parts about you, is so necessary. And like, why not? You're a unique snowflake. Like, I love all those things I said that I love because those make me me. And there are things about you that make you you that probably, like, has anyone heard those or seen those in years? Those are things to focus on. If you're in the zone of not knowing, how to interact with people, or that it brings up a lot of self-doubt, okay? Okay, so just some other things to go into too is this is the reason why circumstances don't matter, because your circumstances are old thoughts. Your circumstances are just old thoughts, old thoughts, old thoughts. Now, if they're old thoughts that you persisted in that you like, then you want to keep those. Keep on focusing on creating more of that story that's to your advantage and that's to your favor, because you guys, this is the key to getting whatever you want. In any area of life, this is the key, okay? It doesn't matter whether that thing you want is a Lamborghini, it's an SP, it's a house, it's a career in modeling, it's a career as CEO in sales and marketing. This is the key to getting whatever you want. And this is knowledge and an understanding consciously that we're really, really, really privileged to have. And they're the laws of the universe, so we can't even change them. But anyways, This is the way that you can focus on getting whatever you want, being persistent in new thoughts to create the new reality, right? Because your thoughts are things, and your thoughts are always creating on your behalf. Staying on the mental diet, staying on top of your thoughts, creating the story of your favor so that you get what you want again. All right, so I hope you guys have found this video helpful. I've gone over a lot of things today, and thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing one more time to all of our videos, because we so appreciate the support. And let me know what you think about this video in the comments. I would love to hear. And the link for booking one-on-one coaching with me is also in the box below. And you guys go out there, make today awesome, create some awesome things, and then tell us all about it. We'd love to hear. All right, so see you in the next video. Have an awesome day. Bye.